your girl Kay Daniels, and I'm so excited to have you here for Give God the Pen, my new YouTube series where myself and guests will be discussing how we allow God to write the story in our marriages, in our finances, in our business, and other areas of our lives, you guys, because we're not that good of a writer. Okay, but I'm so excited to have you guys here. So make sure you stay, like, comment, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Stay tuned for the video, okay? Get your notebooks out. It's about to be a good one. Hey Daniels Den, it's me, Kay Daniels, back with another video again, and I am back with the Calhouns, Sharelle and Lukman. We are on part 2, you guys, of their marriage testimony, you guys, and we about to get to talking about this roller coaster that they mentioned, okay? So, y'all said that it was a full roller coaster. So let's get on this roller coaster, okay? So let's start at the beginning. So at this point, y'all have already encountered each other, y'all met each other, and then what happens after y'all encounter each other and y'all meet?
Right. So again, I will back up a little bit. It is 2010 is when we meet. Mm-hmm. Messenger and I go through a friendship, but kind of liking each other for about the first year. And the roller coaster would be, there was someone else that was in his heart. While I was trying to be his friend, because God has not really fully yet revealed who we are to one another. Mm-hmm. So even though we know there's an attraction there, we both know that we're ministers, God just not giving direction this yet, but we're talking to each other. We are communicating with each other. Once again, y'all, we were neighbors, so we're going to see each other this way. We began to have mutual friends, you know, just kind of certain church groups and settings. We know about that. And so maybe like 6.5 months into the year of us being friends, but kind of having feelings, maybe a little bit longer than that. I now know, I don't know when he knew, but I knew at this time that I had feelings for him. Okay. And so we're talking and we're getting closer. Mm-hmm. And then here's the first part of the roller coaster ride for me. I'm in church one day, and you know, part 1, there was the infamous knock on the door. Now we get the infamous phone call, the phone call that just shattered my world. I'm hoping that God will send him towards me to let me know that he has feelings and let's go forward with each other. Okay. Didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way. I left church one day and he calls me. And apparently because I was in church, I didn't get the call. And when I get out of church, I'm really excited to hear from him. You know, you got your potential person that's calling you or whatever. And the message was, I would never forget it. Hello, woman of God.
Now he threw woman of God.
Yes, he threw woman of God in there, okay? Just hit me with a real good blow. He said, hello, woman of God. And my husband has this long pause sometimes, even now he still speaks.
It's a dramatic pause he gives you.
So this is a voicemail. And I'm really excited like to knock on the door. And this phone call says, hey, woman of God, I just want to say thank you for just being there for me and, you know, your friendship and your time. But, you know, I feel as if the Lord is leading me in another direction. And I'm going to give a shot to the person. I'm going to try it out with her. And that was basically the voicemail that I got. On a day that I thought maybe I was getting ready to see him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you want to take over?
Yeah, explain yourself.
I want to say that even hearing this, it bothers me.
It should.
Honestly, this is the time I believe that every single person ought to examine their hearts.
Right.
And in doing so, sometimes you will make mistakes. I get it. You know, there's a famous saying that we all know. If it hurts, let it go. But if it comes back around second time, then you know.
I ain't really up on that thing.
And so I took the liberty to, and this is another thing, men of God, even women of God, when you cut or sever cords, sometimes what the enemy would do is allow people to call you on your phone that you know you ain't supposed to be talking to. And you answer, say, what is she doing? Or what is he doing? And let me see what's going on. This person, she gonna keep calling. And some tell you don't answer it.
But you do anyway.
And then it's something it's just an itching sensation of like, I am curious. Let me see what she talking about. It's like the 3rd or 4th time she called. And some told me, if you answer this call, she got you. So sure enough,
You answer.
I answered.
He answered the call. He answered the call, not the call of God, but he answered the call.
I'm not gonna mention her name. What's going on? And she was crying. I'm sorry, but how can you do this to me? And you've been knowing me longer than her, and you were serious. That's your neighbor, and said everything else. And I just sat back. I said, I knew I should never answer. And so she apologized. She kind of been deliberate, like talking to me about things I didn't think she caught on, but she knew what she did. And I said, oh, you remember? I know I shouldn't just always go to the skating ring. I should have thought about what you wanted to eat outside of Wingstop, outside of Rudy's Chicken. And
Oh my God,
I'm
this is
sorry.
crazy.
I should have thought about what I said. Okay. All right. This ain't fair. It's not fair to me. You did this to me. I'm this, I'm that, I'm sacrificing this. You need to give me a chance. I gave you a chance. I listened to you. Okay.
Dramatic, y'all.
So instead of listening to the Spirit, speak to me. I'm doing a recap. What voice are you listening to? Because a lot of times, we tend to listen to another voice that is not of the voice of God. And that voice is led by other desires. And so I started to kind of yield towards what I like to hear, what I was liking, what she was willing to offer at the time as a sacrifice. I said, oh, and all the itchy things that basically pretty much she was willing to give the whole ship.
What was that?
If I would turn back and give her an opportunity. So I said, you don't have to go that far with it, but okay. Maybe it might be that, it took this. All right, fine. So I just took the opportunity and I listened too much to what she had to say versus not listening to what God had to say in behalf of me. And so I took a detour. And so that was a roller coaster of a ride within itself. And then sometimes, real quickly, when you get sidetracked and you start listening again, if you've seen part 1, I still haven't figured this woman out. And so me not being able to break the code of her heart up, what angle, at least I was comfortable. She told me she was
with the
wrong.
demon you knew.
Okay. So I was like, okay, but I don't know nothing about this one.
And then you could leave her and go here, and then she be wrong too. And then it be like, well, dang, I should have stayed where I was at.
Listen. It was just too perfect. So I said, what chance do I take? I mean, I got a little history with this, but with her, everything is just, she checking all cylinders, everything is like, but she got something. I know she's like a kill shot. So I said, okay, I'll give a second chance to someone that's willing to offer it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I called this woman back, I was happy. I was happy that she didn't pick up the phone.
I know you was. You called her, you knew she was at church. He said, yeah, let me call her, she at church.
Y'all don't do this, he does. Don't do it, me. Don't do it.
Listen. I said, I know she ain't gonna pick up. Let me just do it like this, and maybe she
Still plotting, y'all. Still
and I
plotting.
said, if she meant for me, she'll be there. But if she ain't, I'll square away, and we'll go our separate ways. So I called. I did the coward move, guys, and I called while she was at church, and it was almost 11, I believe. But I left a message, and I said, okay, it's done. If she get it, she get it. Praise God. I know she'll get it. Not considering the fact, and this is really bad, guys, and I share this with y'all because even though it sounds funny, it's not when you're dealing with people's hearts,
right.
When you're dealing with people's emotions and minds, especially when they're coming clear and crisp and with a sincere spirit. You know, because remember now, guys, when you, in the previous episode, I spoke on my marriage with my first wife and what happened to me. Just to recap, had a baby outside of my marriage. She did all of these devastating things, and prior to all of that, you know, I come home from work, everything is gone. I had to try to piece things together and try to fix it, and then the kill shot, the kill blow. Nothing is worse than finding out that the wife that you in love with is pregnant with another man's baby.
Yeah, very painful.
And so, very devastating. Nothing that could top that naturally, but that was heavy on my mind. What else can top something like that I honestly I really wasn't healed from, honestly. And so, to say all of this, I made the option to say, okay, I'm gonna deal with someone that is willing to stick their neck out, but in a natural sense. But it's the natural beauty and everything was there, but on the supernatural, spiritual, word of God sense, I wasn't used to that. And so my taste buds in the spirit realm wasn't used to filet mignon yet. I'm still trying to get off McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Get off the wing side.
and so in the spirit realm, right? And so I realized that when you fish in certain waters that's muddy, you're gonna come up with catfish. But when you take bigger poles into bigger lakes, let alone oceans, you're gonna reap bigger, cleaner fish. Right. So that was just I would say a lesson learned moment, and so that's what happened. I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna let my wife go ahead. And
I'm gonna tell y'all the rest of the story. Okay.
So, well, before we move on, like, do you think that now when you look back at it, do you think it was pertinent for you to make that decision? Like, do you think if you didn't make that decision, then you just went with Sharelle straight off the bat, would the result have been the same as you go ahead and trying one last time this other way, and then realizing at that second time that, okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah. I'm gonna say this. You know, everything I do is Bible, right? And then sometimes I strayed away. I'll be honest with you, I strayed away from it because Bible was everything checked off of this. So I wanted to see, was this how she gonna work her heart, how her spirit out? Cause I've been hurt. So if you all of this and I was this, I didn't get this out of my marriage. So in so many words, and it's funny that you would bring that up because I was bitter.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I did all of this and I got done wrong. And I consider myself I was perfect. I mean, as far as not doing anything wrong, adultery-wise, and rolling eyes, taking care of my wife, family, focused ministry. I said, okay. If she was Teflon Dawn as me, because imagine, I feel like, okay, if not, I feel like she got a little something more than me. And what I do know is, she was celibate. She'd been waiting until Mr. Right. And I was still kind of beat up. I said, how is she waiting on Mr. Right? And I guess she's kind of feeling me. I said, I'm going to see what this is. So I said, let me test it. It was almost like a science project to me, to be honest with you. But I said, okay, God, let me step back because everything had to happen the way it did.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say why. It's because the relationship of realizing what it is, and she is the real deal. She's not a counterfeit. Everything that she went through honestly brought value to the relationship, whereas anyone else probably would have folded under pressure. Not saying that person or whoever the ladies that I was dating prior to me meeting my beautiful queen, it's just not taking nothing away from conversations and other little relationships in between my wife and I. Good women.
Right, right.
So I want to put that out there. I mean, these ladies are God-fearing, beautiful, nice-looking ladies. It just wasn't for me. And so I want to clear that up because I don't want no one to sit here and look at this down the road. But what happened just brought value. I think that everything that had to happen, it built a foundation. It was rough.
Right.
It was messed up. But I was rough. I was messed up. Only this woman right here could deal with the kind of issues that I was going through at that moment and at that time, And so she was honestly really my angel in disguise. Never knew it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
With that being said,
Yes.
so. And the reason why, while he was talking, it came to me too. I definitely agree that was meant because then during that time, you're now having to learn the war. Well, I don't know if you were learning the war, if you already had learned the war, but this just was a different type of war. But him doing that and stepping away now brought you into a new place with God in regards to this situation. So,
right. So I totally agree that it was meant to happen. And the reason why I say that is because now when we're many, many years later, I wasn't even really ready at that time to where I thought I was. Now, again, keep in mind, the Bible talks about a righteous man falls 7 times and get back up. Yes, I had been by myself for 7 years, but almost 4 of those years, I decided to be celibate. When I say I decided, I went to the Father. I struggled a little bit. There are things that you're just going to have to really begin to just dedicate your life to God. And I said, no more. God, until you make me a bride or bring me my husband. And so where I had been by myself for so long, even though my emotions were kind of ready to experience something different, as I sit before you today, I know it would have been the right time. Why? Because there were still other things that I needed to learn about myself. But it was still yet perfect timing that God allowed us to meet one another. Because I began to wonder, okay, well, what type of man are you really looking for? I began to ask myself questions like that. And now knowing the type of pain that he was in, like you said, he was in a lot of pain. I would have rather for him to have figured out that wasn't the one for him than to kind of ping pong and go back and forth.
Right.
So even though it was kind of a shock to my heart, I can sit here today and answer that I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened the way that it happened. It gave him more time to heal, in a sense. God was healing the both of us slowly. You've heard about some of his traumas and some of the things that he's went through, but I'm still dealing with a lot of issues from my childhood.
Right.
I'm dealing with other issues that I could have potentially put off on him as a woman. That was not his job.
Right.
It was something I still had to find myself and find out where I was still yet in God outside of a relationship, even though I may have wanted a relationship really bad. It stung. It did. He knew I was in church, y'all. It stung. But what would begin to happen is a little time would pass. It's not like we would just stop talking forever. We stopped talking as much. And in that time, you know, I did think about my husband. It did, you know, hurt my feelings and sting a little bit. But God helped me to fill in those gaps and times with other things as I was still on my own journey learning about who I was in Christ. So to answer that long story short, yes, I'm glad it happened the way it happened. Yeah.
So what happened? Okay, so after he sends you this voice message,
Yes.
and then he moves on to the other lady, and then now what are you doing?
Ooh.
Are you waiting on him? Are you dating other people? Are you?
Now, every once in a blue moon, there would be someone that I would kind of entertain a little bit, but no, not really. Again, my relationship is now being, without going into a lot of history of it, my relationship now is being built stronger, a little bit more with my mom. I'm healing in some areas on my own. I'm growing in ministry. And what begins to happen is, remember, I'm only in those apartments for a little bit over a year. By the time that I get this message from him, not too long afterwards, I move away from those apartments. I move away from the apartment, so I no longer see him as much anymore. Oh, I gotta tell this. Oh my God. There was one particular time though, that the roller coaster started to just hit my heart again. I was moving. Yes. Oh yeah, I'm going. I was moving. And, you know, just to kind of, for the sake of time and keep the details short, but give you some information. So he's made the call. We kind of lose talking every day or every other day, however we were talking, because, you know, he's now involved in somebody else. And at the time, I'm on some social medias and you see it. You know, you see the people together and what they're doing, but I had to focus on God. So I didn't even tell him that I was moving. That shook me because somewhere in my heart, I still knew he was in my life for some reason. I just didn't understand it. So I remember one day I'm packing up everything and I'm walking up and down the stairs in the apartments. And I think I'm okay because I haven't spoken to him. So I don't have to face what I'm feeling. Like, man, he chose somebody else in a sense, you know. But I respected that. I saw him one day when I was moving, packing up my boxes, getting ready to move out the apartment. And the pain struck my heart so badly. I was like, God, what is this? Why do I have this type of pain for this man? Again, it's not like we just flat out just stopped talking to each other. But again, we would talk every once in a blue moon, but it was more so in passing when I would see him in the apartments. So I'm moving out. He sees me. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe at that time was a friend over, or it was something that was going on. He sees me moving, y'all, up and down the stairs. We don't even really communicate. He doesn't come over and say anything to me. He doesn't say hello. But I see him and he sees me. And that's when another level of pain hit me. Like, why do I even care so much?
He didn't even say nothing.
When I was coming down the stairs, I so happened to look over. Now remember, I'm upstairs, like I said in part one. I could look out my patio and see him. See his stairwell that came down. So as I'm coming down, I just so happened to glance over to my right. And there he was. I don't know if it was I hadn't seen him in a few days, or I hadn't talked, or I knew it was at a time that we were not talking as much anymore. And when I saw him, what I thought were the feelings that I had put behind me, I was like, oh, it's okay, God, it's just something I experienced. All the feelings came rushing back to me, and I didn't understand why I was feeling what I was feeling.
So what was you thinking when you saw her moving?
Oh man, I'm having a flashback moment now.
It's so many moments, y'all.
It is. Let me just say this. That's painful.
For you?
No,
Should be for me.
No. Just thinking back at it, because love is a fight, man.
It really is.
and I want to say this because you know, I have a book called The Art of War, and so Sun Tzu, The Art of War, and so the war begins in the mind. And so I knew that I had mental problems or mental, and I devoutly asked myself, and I promised myself, whoever this woman's gonna be, she gonna love me more than I love myself, cause I'm not gonna get hurt like I did before. You know, everything stems from the last pain. It's like your very first fight. If you fight somebody and you get whooped real good, you're gonna learn not to get whooped again. Not like that.
He gonna fight different.
I'm gonna fight different.
Right.
And so in the spirit realm, I just me and God, I was mad at him too. Now how crazy is that?
Right. About experience.
Right. So I was just kind of a little rebellious. I felt something with this one that I just could not. It made me feel oozy inside. I guess. I just don't know.
Is that in a dictionary?
No, it's not.
I felt. I don't know what this was.
Yeah, he exposed a whole bunch of his symptoms.
It was something that I never experienced before, when it kind of illuminated off of her on me, and I just know, man, what is this? You know, I felt what I thought was love for, you know, relationships and ladies, but this was just a little bit different. You know, it didn't have no strings attached, I guess. That's why the best way I can describe it. You know, relationships had conditions and strings, and you signed a contract. You know, this is what you need to do, you know, mentally, but also, you know, physically. But with her, I don't have to do all of this. You just be you. I didn't have to say nothing. You know, if I was sick, she came through. You know, if I was low on gas, that's my job. Hey, you need some money, a couple of dollars, you know, just whatever. Even when I was going through some tough periods of my life at that time, she was just a helping hand, and I just said, who does this? You know, and again, the rule of thumb here is, if you can't understand, I know what the Bible speaks on, just stand. But in the now, I relied more on, I had a little bit more faith, I hate to say this, in the natural eye of things, because it was something that I felt like, as I discussed in the last episode, like walking a wire line, right? Just connecting. And then if I walk it, if I slip, I know that I'm caught.
Right.
But if you disconnect it, oh, you operating on a whole nother level of faith, right? And so I realized that dealing with the lady that I was really interested in and piqued my interest, I was more, be honest with you, I was scared. There ain't no other way around. I was nervous. I just never experienced anyone that had that type of fire about herself. You know, I just, if we go there with the word, she was matching me. And so I said, okay, well, if you know, that's it. I said, the devil know the word. So
okay.
And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna find out.
Right.
And so.
And can I just interrupt and say, it is kind of to piggyback off of what you said. He was afraid, but so was I. But there was something, for whatever reason, we now know the Holy Spirit, something kept drawing us together.
Absolutely.
Like he would say that he didn't know what it was that he felt about me. Even that day that I saw him, and I'm gonna make sure I explain something correctly. Although I had been by myself in no relationship for 7 years, The end of those 7 years, I'm talking about the 4 years, the end of the 7-year period. For 4 years at the end, again, I was with no one physically, sexually, nothing of that sort. The first 3 years, I was not in a relationship, but every once in a blue moon, you entertain things that you just should not entertain. And so coming out of all of that, me walking through that, when I saw him, I still know the unction and the presence of the Lord. Even though it was a pain that I was feeling, I just knew it was just something about him. Like he knew it was something about me that he couldn't put his finger on. I still knew, even though we're not together, and even though I know he's with somebody, God, this man is in my life for some reason. And that's what struck me even the more with pain, because I didn't understand it. Here I am, this 7-year period, dedicating myself as much as I can now to the Lord, especially those last 4 years. Why do I have feelings like this for someone? Why am I feeling an attachment so quickly? Is where my mind and heart was at the time. So
I want to say honestly, I just took a gamble, and I gambled on God. I was being rebellious in that, saying that, okay, God, if this is for me, okay, make it clear.
Right, absolutely.
And also at the same time, I will say that when I saw you, this is right now, it's just all coming to me.
Because we haven't talked about this in a while.
Yeah. And it's kind of painful looking back at it. So when I saw her moving, it did something to me. I said, did I do this? In my mind, I'm thinking, not knowing the circumstances.
Right. It was, yeah.
But let me just be honest. This is new. I'm just saying now. Mama put it out there. I'm like, man, she's leaving because of me.
No.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what you think.
And I'm devastated by it. I said, oh, Mom, did I cause this, God? She left. She's leaving the apartments because of me. And I had her like this cup on reserve because I said it was still. I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, I'm still trying to piece it out. I said I don't want you going nowhere, but when I started seeing her pack up, it did something to me. And when I wanted, watch this, it's real. We haven't even had this conversation, but now since you open up another layer. There's layers to this. I mean, like the first part of the podcast moment, I was, it was funny and I was eager, but this one, baby, you unraveled something. Lord have mercy. I was upset and saddened by your move. That I wanted to come and help, but some like,
oh, y'all, it probably would have made me mad. It would have made me.
Yeah. I saw her demeanor, and she was like a mama bear right there at that moment. Like,
you like, nah, let me stay
just give me my space.
And I think, I don't know, you had somebody helping you.
I don't even remember who, but it was someone helping me.
A family friend.
Yeah, it was a family friend. Oh yeah, Wayne.
Wayne.
Yeah, he just passed away.
Yeah.
A few other people helping me.
And so I said, it looked like she got the help that she need, but I saw it on your face, and I saw what looked like disappointment, and I just felt bad, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I just said, okay, what am I doing?
So if you guys wonder why I was actually moving, it wasn't even so much as financial. It was an issue, even though I talked about it before, it was kind of tight. It was more so, like Kendra mentioned, an assignment for him to be there with his mom, an assignment for me to be in those apartments for only a certain period of time. Because what began to happen was I needed to move back with my grandmother and my grandfather, which at the time, my grandmother was at an age to where she was not able to, which both are now passed, but my grandfather was in a wheelchair. And so I don't know if we're going to get to it in this particular, maybe part 3. This is where eventually, down the road, this awesome man of God, before we're even engaged, he would take care of my grandfather. And so I moved out of the apartments because help was needed for me with my grandparents. Yeah.
Right. So I would sit here and say those little moments were little triggers in my mind that God never allowed me to forget. You know, just the intimate moments where, you know, us going to get something to eat, you know, get some barbecue, or, you know, just listening to music, or just sitting and just having just simple conversations that were breathtaking, but at the same time just scary to me, because I ain't never felt.
And I'm gonna throw this in. We have a very strange habit and an odd habit that we found out. Our first, it wasn't even really a date. Y'all, there's so many things, but we met one time in the apartments. And we met one time in this apartment at this bench, because again, we're neighbors. We can call each other on the phone. Hey, meet me down here at the bench and we're gonna talk. And so he turned, and the bench. So with the bench, he turned and I turned at the same time, and we pull out car mats out of our pockets at the same time. I know it's gonna sound strange to people, but it was in a crazy way. Not necessarily just the Lord talking, but I don't even have to hear. I have to
hey.
It was the fact that we did it at the same time. So you have to remember, there were things that we developed as friends first that kind of made it so much of a roller coaster when I kind of found out that I was gonna stay in a friend zone kind of maybe in a sense. But it, like he said, the funny time and moments that we have eating with each other and just kind of hanging out with each other and getting to know each other,
knowing our likes and dislikes,
right?
And knowing our taste buds are similar, and then you know, picking up certain things, her liking what I like. Oh, I never had that before. And it's just, you know.
I just kind of felt that at some point in time we were going to be in a relationship, and so I want to encourage someone, if you're waiting on God, if you're wondering if it's counterfeit, if it's been a long time. I know it's not cliche when we say this. All things do work together for the good of those that love the Lord, because we are called according to his purpose. That's one of my favorite scriptures to say. You got to keep waiting on the Father, and you have to keep praying. Because at this time, it did not look like it was something that was sent from God for me. But we'll get into all those details, how he took care of my grandparents, down the road when God moved me from the apartment. So y'all keep waiting on God.
So was it something, because at this time, you're still with the other girl, and so at this point, you a grown man, you dated a lot. Was it something that just really felt different about her compared to all the other women? Like, was it a thing where, because people say this a lot, when you know. Like, was there, so even though you were scared and all that stuff, you couldn't figure her out, but did you feel that it's something different about her? Even though you met all these great women, all these beautiful women, all these different but was it something, did you know, even before you knew this was your wife, was it always something just different about her specifically?
I wanted to keep her close.
You didn't know why, but you just know, I can't let this one go.
Get into that too.
I wanted to keep her close, and I felt like, okay, well, let me just keep it. Let me step back because I'm nervous. Let's keep it on a friend zone. Let me see how she would react if I talk to her about this person that I'm talking to. Now, mind you, the person that cried and said all that she wanted to say. And now just thinking about it, even in the first episode, I didn't mention it up, but now since we're discussing it, what bothers me is no accountability. If I'm talking to you and, if I make a mistake, I'm going to say, okay, that was on me. But if a person made a mistake against me and can't say, I'm sorry, that's a red flag. That's a red flag for me. Oh my God. You would rather just smile about it or get over it by saying you're sorry, by being nice, overly nice, or want to go out to eat or throw a dinner at me. No, say you're sorry, man. because I want you to know what you're doing is wrong, and that right there was the reason why I ended up leaving her alone. And then I entertained the thought of trying to, reach back to not my wife. She's my wife now, but I had the scary fears, man. I was nervous, man. I said, well, I just got nervous,
I still don't think he just really knew.
It was something that I knew, but it was something that was saying not yet.
Right. Okay, I agree with that. I totally and let me remember. Okay, not to say remember. Let me throw in a little hook here. I'm gonna remind him of a lot of stuff today.
I did. So
yeah, it, y'all, marriage and relationships, like I said, love is hard work, but it's worth the work. Because when you keep God in the center of it all, He has a way of just bringing it back around.
Absolutely.
The way that it's supposed to be. When you keep waiting on God, He brings it back around the way that it's supposed to be. Whatever it is that you were seeking God for, God got it. And so when I moved to my grandparents' house, I'm just really bad, just a little bit. When I moved to my grandparents' house, he is still talking to this individual. Now, I will say, I don't remember exactly. I'm sure he reached out to me. And there was a point in time, y'all, he changed his telephone number. Wait a minute. Oh, do you remember that? He changed his telephone number, not just specifically for me, but because of me, or like he wanted to, Now, I'm gonna tell also, even though I'm kind of in the friend zone right now, it's gonna flip. It's gonna flip a little bit later now, maybe in part 3, where he was now in the friend zone. He wants to get out of the friend zone. But he changed his telephone number. He changed the roller coaster, y'all. It's all over the place today. He changed his telephone number. And so we're not gonna say who, but we had a mutual friend that I didn't even ask him. I'm gonna get back to the point of what I was about to say about my grandmother's house, my grandparents' house. This mutual friend of ours told me that he changed his telephone number. So it's not like I had been trying to call him, but it would have been nice for him to kind of maybe reach out to you, girl, and tell me, you changed your telephone number. But because he's dating somebody else, I found out through this mutual friend that he changed the dagger in my heart. I kind of felt the same way like I felt going down the stairs. Right. Like he could have called me. Our friendship means nothing. You didn't even let me know that you changed your telephone number. Right. Isn't it just... But this is the roller coaster episode. But when I moved from the apartments, I do get back to my grandparents' house. I know somewhere along the line after his telephone number changed, he reached out to me, and by this time, I still know that he's in my heart and my spirit, but I'm constantly praying. And this is where the roller coaster will still continue. It was not time yet. It had to be something. When I go back now and I think about it, my maturity level needed to still be increased in a level. Again, remember, I prayed for that my relationship would change with my daughter, which it was. I was learning so many other things about life. And at this particular time, being at my grandparents' house, you were still with the individual because I was still giving him dating advice. Now go figure. We lose contact. I move back in, I go back to my grandparents' house to help. He eventually reaches out to me from a new telephone number because we were friends. And we kind of just picked back up again like nothing had happened. And by now I'm giving him dating advice. The roller coaster. Yeah. He coming back, y'all. Wait. Yes, about this particular woman again.
Listen,
I told y'all he extra.
Listen, y'all. Can you give me that stick right there? That's the one.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
So, some of us, we like to shoot pool, and playing pool. Some of us say, well, I don't know how to play, and put the money down, put the bet down, put your money down, put your bet down. So, I relied on my own skill set, not trusting in God, but I trusted on the ability, my own natural abilities to discern what I feel would be right or counterfeit. At this moment, I'm still operating in love in her.
Right.
So even though every once in a while I would get a direct message from the Lord, but pain caused cloudiness. This is the reason why some of us got to heal. My wife, the lady that I was trying to date and get to know, she had time to heal, to take away the bacteria and spiritual bacteria, all the things that was connected to you, all of those things were fast off of you. All of those things.
Well, in the area of relationships.
In the area of the relationship.
That was the difference between him and
but mental, physical, all of that, because you were just focusing on Bible, you were focusing on ministry, and then you was focusing on what God was going to do in your life and what directions you were going to take. I was just drifting. I was hurt. I knew I was ministry. I wanted to take a sabbatical. I just did not say, man, I got hit all over the place. I'm just a beat up guy looking for love in all the wrong places.
That takes honesty. That takes honesty.
And so I said, I'm just going to be the man with the pool stick. And whatever ball, boom, hits, and wherever it lands, the last ball standing, it would be who I'm going to be with. And so I had these kind of conversations with God. I said, God, okay, well, watch my steps. I'm going to be this person right now until you show me different. And so it had to take God in this process, to be honest with you, because after I got out of the relationship with the woman that did not want to be held accountable with apologies and say that you're sorry about a lot of things that she did, that was a jawbreaker. And so I said, okay, I'm going to talk to somebody else. I wanted to talk to her, but her pool game was too strong. And I said, well, I can't figure her out. So let me figure this out. And let me try, do this thing one more time on my own. And so I started to try to talk to somebody that's out of state. In Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I say that.
Now, keep in mind, we're still friends. We're still friends. I do have those feelings there, but I don't know why. I'm more concerned about him in ministry, right? Because I know he's a minister. I'm more concerned about his soul. It got to the point that my greatest desire for us would be just to walk in the Lord together, no matter how the relationship was. I think that's how God shifted me. So it's going to sound crazy. It just was not time yet. I'm taking care of my grandparents because now we're in about 2011. We're in 2011 now, going to 2012. We'll get into how we got into a relationship. But I'm his friend. And now this is the last person that he decides to talk to, but I'm okay with it. Even though I know it's something still that's there, my focus was still yet so strongly in ministry and in other areas of my life. I knew I still had to connect to him for some strange reason.
So I will say this, if I really wanted somebody to pray for me, last episode, I'm at the movies. I had to get up out of the movies, give you a call and ask, are you praying for me? And it was like a big pause. Yeah.
Yeah, I do not sound like that, but I was always praying for him.
And so this was one of those those moments that I said, okay, she ain't mad yet. She's still talking to me. I done left this one, the one that cried. I guess the natural thing is to go back. I said, no, I ain't finna. It was pride. I said, no. I said, okay, let me see where she at. You know, let me see how much she really like me. Let me give this woman out of state of opportunity. And so, you know, she's another woman of God, working in ministry. You know, and you know, she had similar situations with me.
Right.
You know,
I don't have anything bad to say about her.
You know, deceased now, but you know, husband at the time. Cheated.
And remember, we're friends, so I know who he's dating. Great person. Absolutely.
You know, her husband cheated on her. You know, with a prostitute and everything else like that. So we had something in common. I said, okay, you've been hurt, I've been hurt. I judged it from that.
He's still y'all just.
So I said, well, man, I said, okay, all right. So we can vibe. You know, she had you know, kids already. I have sons. I said, okay, you got 3, I got 3. I said, okay. You've been cheated on.
This has to be God.
You know, she been cheated on. I've been cheated on. I said, okay. You see my flaws. You see my pain. I recognize your flaws, but I do understand your pain.
Right.
We got something in common. So I made the judgment with that. But boy, I tell you, that ain't always the case. And I will say the relationship that I had with this person was great. But
and I knew of it.
but at the same time, I'm thinking I'm winning. And I wanna let everybody know that I done scratched out. White ball.
No, wait, let me just add this. I knew about this individual. Remember, we're friends, and it gets so rough for me. I'm not going to pretend and say as if I didn't care.
Right.
Or I wasn't stung.
Right.
When I was giving him this dating advice. But something is saying, Sharelle, just be there for him. It's the Holy Spirit. Constantly, he would come over to the house when certain things weren't going right, not in his relationship, but when certain things weren't going right in regard to works or a job or other, and he would just cry on my shoulder. We were friends. And I remember one day, and I think I have shared this with Keandra. It got so bad for me that I was like, God, I'm praying, I'm crying out. I'm like, why am I giving this man that I care about dating advice? This makes no sense to me. God, I don't know how he got in my heart this way. I don't know why it's still here, but I prayed to the Lord. I promise this is a true story. I said, God, take him off of my heart. If this is you, I put a specific request, just me and the Lord praying. And I said, God, take this man off of my heart for 30 days. I don't want to be his friend no more. I don't want to give him no more advice. I don't want to hear about his happy go, outings and a movie. I don't want to hear about any of that. And so I promise you, within a 30-day period, me and this man did not talk for one day. Not until the next following month. God gave me exactly what I prayed for. Y'all,
Listen, I wanna say this. You gotta admit when you get your butt whooped. And man, listen, I was the biggest player of them all. I tell you, I wanted my lick back, man. I put my player card up, and sometimes it comes back to you, and I felt like all the things that I've done in my past, it can come back. And I thought, with all due respect, with my ex-wife, I felt like it was something else more coming down the pipeline, you know. And so I said, well, that didn't kill me. It wanted to. I said, the next one, I got to be very careful, not knowing that God has already sent help. And you're ignorant of it, you know. The Bible speaks on in your weakness. When you give your weakness to Christ, then that's when you're strong. And I wanted my lick back. I wanted to take back what the devil stole from me, but I wanted to do it in a way where I can make the decisions that I wanted to have the high ground. I wanted to. It was I at that moment. You know, if it didn't fit the look of my eye, everything was I.
But you're not like that today.
Oh no. That side. And so I realized even dating this young lady that out of state, you know, I would go up and, you know, visit and stuff like that. But I would speak to, you know, this beautiful woman. Even there was a contract. Let me speak on something. My twin brother and myself and another person, I'm not gonna mention his name. We were on the verge of opening up our own preparatory academy in Lancaster, in between Lancaster and Cedar Hill. And so we finally put the proposal together. We had some 2 city councilmen. We had some retired teachers that were going to come out of retirement that we were going to pay, put them on payroll. We were going to be one of the first 3 black-owned preparatory academy a few years back, and the proposal was put in place for $26 million. And this is why it's so important that you connect yourself with the right people, because a lot of times you have these visions and dreams and goals. And so this guy, and I'm going somewhere with this. This guy was a preacher, Church of God in Christ. I would put that out there. And I was a minister at that time in that location. But people would see something in you, and people can see the connections that you have. And then once they get it, everything that they couldn't get, and that one last component put on the table, the money.
Okay.
They don't need you no more. But God. When you got loyal people that's connected to you because they know you, they know your pedigree, they know who you are, what you are, your heart is wide open, and when you pull the plug, even the money got to go. I was hurt. So at this time, contract that was supposed to go to pass, that will set us all up, we had, my twin brother and I, we had to pull the plug. He couldn't get it. He was mad. Then he wanted to come back to the table. He said, "Oh, I apologize, but you showed your hand. Once you show your hand, that's over with." Same thing that happened similar to me. You know, the young lady at the time, I realized that she was just kind of had her hat hung to the money train. Once that was pulled and we had to go, then she wanted to kind of pull back. I said, "Oh, okay." And so she made a decision, and she said, "You know, you realize that you always talk about this young lady that's in Dallas." I said, "Yeah, you know, you speak highly of her. You know, she's you've told me stories about how she prayed for you and times of this and times." She said, "Well, why don't you just go back to her and try to work it out with her?" That got me, man.
Strange, I know.
And it
stay around for the story.
It was a blow to the gut.
She cut you up.
Because I
but not even only that. I was like another woman is pushing him towards me.
No,
It was
no,
strange, but
no, it
I say the
was. So you made a decision, and guys, this is why it's important that when it comes to some of your dreams and aspirations that you hold, because people will connect to you based on what they think they can get out of you. I'll say that. But it backfired. I'm gonna leave that alone. But what transpired was when she said that, I've already been hurt before, but this was a kind of hurt that it hurt me when she said it, because now you choosing now, and she has every right to choose who she feel like that could provide for her already ready-made family. Two of her kids' father is no longer living, and so she has to think about their livelihood. Okay,
very true.
So what happened was, it hit me to the gut, to the point that the Spirit of God had me to redirect my energy back towards this one right here. And so I will say, I scratched out with the white ball, but this one right here is my 8 ball. And God allowed this ball to be left on the table. And so I scratched out and you won on this. The Holy Spirit won.
Okay, now y'all, let me show you. Now, it would almost seem as if the woman is giving him instructions, but
no, that was God.
It was God.
It was God.
Because in this particular time, while I knew about this particular individual, I prayed. Remember, y'all, I prayed for the 30 days that we would not talk. So there were still some things that God was completing in him, yet with me as well, but just in a different way. Now a little bit more time had passed by. Again, we're still in 2011, and I get to a point, I'm okay. I'm willing to be his friend. I don't need anything else. I'm just gonna be his friend. And I felt as if even those 30-day period that we did not talk, I feel like it was a strengthening that was coming back to me. Because I had God made me so focused in, not just on him and our friendship and what would happen. I was focusing on so many other things. The Lord just told me to take a pause. Take a pause and come spend time with me. And within that time, I know he called me the next month, still dating, and we're still talking. But somewhere within the next 2 to 3 months, I'm like, no, I'm gonna be here for him, but I'm just gonna be his friend. It began to shift. For me, it began to shift. And so this one particular individual did bring up my name. Great person. But what will begin to happen is, as I'm praying to the Lord still yet about our relationship, I feel like I don't want to focus on a dating relationship anymore. And so I'm a dreamer, and I have been since I was a kid, and there are certain particular ways that the Father speaks to me. And so at this particular time, like I said, I'm okay with if he wants to date, I'll just be there for him because he's hurt. As you can tell, we've had some funny moments, but he's been hurt. He's full of a lot of different traumas in a different way. And so am I in different areas. But I have this dream, and the Lord it was a strong warning for me not to shut the door on this man. And I didn't understand it. And even though now I'm more like, yeah, I'm fine with being by myself, and God, I'm better in life now. I don't want anything else or anybody else to complicate my heart. God, I want you to be back in that space, just me and you. But when you become a spouse, that changes. And so one day, now we're getting close to the end of the year of 2011. I hope I'm giving the right time frame. But his birthday is coming up. Kendra may know a little bit about the story. His birthday is coming up, and we hadn't talked as much. We hadn't been talking as much, but his birthday was coming up. I want to, talk to him and tell him happy birthday. And this was around the time that the Lord would keep flooding me with dreams concerning him. I want to get a birthday present, and that's it. I want to get a birthday present. We don't have to be in a relationship, and I want to wish him well. And this was the beginning time that I know God confirmed it in such a strong way. The very night that I had made up in my mind, yeah, God, I'm done with it. I don't even care to know what this friend zone kind of liking each other thing is anymore. He called me. He called me after I've had these dreams. And he's constantly saying things in the conversation that we're having that God and only God was telling me in the dream to pay attention to. It was a warning. In this dream, I want to shut the door on him. I'm like, no, I see myself shutting the door on him. But the Father, through more than just one dream, would tell me, keep the door open. And it was one of the best decisions of my life. It's more to come, though, y'all.
It's more to come. It's very much more.
Y'all. And I'm sure y'all like, ooh, this a lot, y'all. It ain't even, it's still more.
Because we get into a relationship, and there's still a few more things that need to be ironed out. And y'all, I promise, it kind of flips on Mr. Man at the end. Yes, it does. So y'all gotta come back.
To God be the glory. He takes it. He takes it.
Yes.
What I did, I thought I did, but the Holy Spirit said, now I'm going to put what you put on her back on you.
Yeah.
So the tables be turning. That's what they say.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But, whew, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, y'all.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't, I'm sure by now y'all done watched episode 1 already. Episode 2 was impactful. But y'all wait for episode 3, y'all.
The relationship to marriage. Yeah.
Relationship to marriage. Y'all stay tuned, okay? Y'all stay tuned. It's going to be so good. But I will leave in the description bar, you guys, their information so you guys can go and follow them on their social media accounts that they are now building up, you guys. They're going to be doing some great things in the future, you guys. The Lord is really working right now with them.
Amen.
So I'm excited for you guys to get to know them, get to know other areas outside of their marriage and things like that, and really grow closer to God with them. But I'll be leaving the information that they do have in the description bar, and as they continue, I'll update it along the way. But y'all comment below if y'all are loving their story. Make sure y'all subscribe and like, and we will be back, y'all.
We'll be back, y'all. You want to
Okay?
get something?
Well,
now unto him
who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that dwelleth within us. Yes. So God bless y'all.
Amen.
And we catch y'all soon.
Amen.
Shalom.
Bye, y'all.